guys, it's me Lauren. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm showing you guys all the books I read in 2024. This year I read a total of 68 books, which is exactly double what I read last year. My reading goal this year was 50 books, so I definitely surpassed that. I have a good amount of the books here. I don't have all of them, but I have a good amount of them. I really didn't want to get some of them off of my shelves, if I'm being honest. So I have all the books that I have read this year written down here so that I actually tell you all of them, because I don't have the physical copy of all of them. So we're going to start off strong. In January I read the entire Divergent series, including 4, which is basically Divergent through 4's perspective. These books were so good. Divergent, 5 stars. I love this book. I think this will forever be one of my favorites. And then 4 was a 5-star. Insurgent and Allegiant were both like 3.5, 4-ish. Then for February, I literally have none of the books with me that I read for February, but in February I read The Deal by Elle Kennedy. What Once Was Mine, I don't remember the author, but it was in the Disney's Twisted series. The Mistake by Elle Kennedy, and then The Great Gatsby. I read that for my English class. Then in March, I only physically have one of the books with me that I read, but I read Verity by Colleen Hoover, The Score by Elle Kennedy, Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. If only I had told her the second book to If I Had Been With Him, or that. I don't remember the exact title. And then the last book that I read in March was A Court of Thorns and Roses. This book was really good. Honestly, I think the rest of the series is better. It is a decent book though. Then for April, I again only have one of the books that I read for April with me in my stack. But I read The Goal by Elle Kennedy, Maybe Not by Colleen Hoover, and then lastly in April, A Court of Mist and Fury. This one I did really like. I think this is like maybe my second favorite book in the series. I did really like this one. Then in May, I read A Stranger in the House, and then The Legacy by Elle Kennedy, the last book in that little series. And then the last 2 books for May are A Court of Wings and Ruin, and then A Court of Frost and Starlight. Low-key, this one was like just filler, and it wasn't my favorite, but it was still good. This one was not my favorite, but it was still good. Then in June, I read Twisted Love. This is where it ends. I don't have a physical copy. I borrowed that one. And then the last book of ACOTAR, which is A Court of Silver Flames. This one was my favorite. It is a big boy though. This book took me a little while to get through. And then I read Maybe Now by Colleen Hoover, and then The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I honestly didn't like The Love Hypothesis all that much. I have learned that I don't really like Ali Hazelwood books. I think they're too slow, but that's just my opinion. If you like them, that's fine. Then in July, I read the rest of the Twisted series. Twisted Lies is literally the best one. You cannot argue with me. Like, this book was so good. This is one of my favorite books now. I just think it was so good. And then also in July, I read One of Us is Lying. That book was honestly pretty good. It was kind of short, which it was a good just pick-me-up read. And then I read The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This was good, honestly. I liked that it was really creepy and it was super short. This was a really good book. I think this is a 4 stars, honestly. And then last in July, I read Postcards from Summer. That book was pretty good. The names in that book, though, honestly threw me off, and I didn't really like it. So it's a good book, but just it wasn't my cup of tea. And then in August, I read 10 books total. I only have a few of them, but I'm just gonna go through them in order. I read The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This book was so good. Honestly, I really, really liked this book. Then I read The Cheat Sheet. I really liked that book too. I read A Whole New World. That was also in the Disney Twisted series. That one was pretty good. Not my, like, favorite, but it was really good. Then I read Better Than the Movies. Oh my gosh, this book was so good. This is one of my favorite books. This is a 6-star read for me. I'm super picky about how I star my books, but this book was a 6-star to me. This, I think, will be one of my favorite books for a long time. It was adorable, and I think it was like the plot of it was amazing. Just, I highly recommended this book. I read Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. Then I read Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren. This book honestly wasn't my favorite. It was kind of slow to get through. The writing was super big. I don't know. It just wasn't my favorite, but it is a really cute book. And then I read Where the Crawdads Sing. Honestly, I think that book was so good. I think that is a book that everybody should read, just like as a basic book. Then I read Her Body and Other Parties. That was good. It was like little mini like stories. Then starting with my next pile, I read Haunting Adeline. This book was so good. I loved this book like so much. This book was honestly one of my all-time favorites now. It is really dark, but I really, really liked it. And then last in August, I read Conceal Don't Feel. This is also one of the books in the Twisted series for Disney. Then in September, I read 7 books. I read The Do-Over, not the Lynn Painter one. I don't have the book with me because it's at my very top shelf, and I was not going to get a stool to go grab those because like my beanbag is in the way. But honestly, it was kind of slow, not my favorite. I don't remember who it's by though. Then I read Daydreamer by Hannah Grace. This one was really good. Honestly, Icebreaker is still my favorite, but this one was good because it was kind of like slow burn. I think it was cute, but the cover on this one's my favorite, but Icebreaker will always have my heart. I don't know why people hate on that book because I love that book. Then I read Happy Place by Emily Henry. This was a really good book. I really like her writing style, and I liked the plot of this book. It just wasn't like my favorite. I gave it like a 4 stars. Then I read Collide. This book was super good and super cute. Then in September, I read The Housemaid. Holy crap, I loved this book. It kept me on my toes the whole time. I think I finished this book in one night. This book was so good. I honestly, like, I don't know what I would do if I hadn't read this book. This book is a 6 stars. Holy crap. I only had a few 6-star books this year, and this was one of them because holy crap, it was so good. And then because of that, I went and bought The Boyfriend by Frida McFarlane because I just needed more of her books because holy crap, this was so good. Then I read 2 Christina Lauren books. I read The Honey Don't List and Something Wilder. These were good. Honestly, I like her books because they're standalones and I can read them like pretty quickly. And I think I'm moving further away from this genre, so I liked them more when I bought them, but I think I'm moving away from this genre a little bit and moving a little more into like dark romance or like romantasy and stuff like that. In October, I also read 7 books. The first book of October was Hunting Adeline. Honestly, I did not like this book. The first one is so much better. This one it was really triggering. It was not good. It made me dislike Zaid. Like, it was good, but not my favorite, and it took me a little longer to get through than I had hoped. Then I read the entirety of the Devil's Night series. Holy fudge, these books are so good. If I recommend anything this year, it's these. These are my favorite. I don't even care what else I read this year. This is it. These were the books of the year. I loved them. I ate this shit up. My favorite is Kill Switch. My second favorite is Hideaway. And then it's Corrupt, and then Nightfall. I low-key didn't like Nightfall, which is weird because a lot of people liked it. I didn't like it that much, but oh, this book is so good. It's so good. These books, I think these are so good. Like, so good. Please read them. I read The Art of Catching Feelings. October was such a good month because this book was so good too. This book was also about a 6-star. This book was so amazing. I don't even know why, but like the plot of this book was chef's kiss. Everything about this book was chef's kiss. And it was really itty bitty and short and super good. Then the last book in October I low-key hated. It was Island of Bones. I didn't like that book at all. That's all I have to say about it. Then in November I read 6 books. I read Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. These books were like good, but not my favorite if I'm being honest. Then I read Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. This book was actually one of the better Christina Lauren books that I've read, but again, I'm moving away from this genre a little bit, so that's all I have to say. Then I read The Block Party. I honestly didn't really like this book. It was a gift, so I read it. It was good, but it didn't keep me interested, so it was like a 2 stars for me. Then I read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I read this book for school. I think this is a really good book. The literature in it is really good, but again, not my favorite. Wouldn't have chose to read this for fun, but I think it was a good idea to read. Then the last book in November was If We Ever Meet Again by Anna Hong. Oh my gosh, I love her books. They're really good. And this one was super cute. This series was kind of weird because they were like interconnected standalones, but not technically, because the first 2 are connected and then the other 2 are like separate but connected. So I really liked it though. It was really good, and I got the ones with the sprayed edges. So pretty. And then in December I also read 7 books. To finish off the If Love series by Anna Huang, it was If the Sun Never Sets, If Love Had a Price, and then If We Were Perfect. Honestly, I think If We Were Perfect was my favorite, or maybe the second one, I'm not really sure, but these books were really good, and I do really recommend. I think Anna Huang's books are really good. Then I read In Holidays by Christina Lauren. That book was really good. I don't have the physical copy, because, yeah. And then I read A Merry Little Meet Cute. This book was really good. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised how much I liked this book, but it was really good. Then also some of the best books that I read this year. I got these 2 for Christmas, so they were in my last video, but I read Hooked and Scarred by Emily McIntyre. They are both a part of the Never After series. I looked up the order of this series because I didn't know, so if somebody gets mad at me and says they're in the wrong order, I googled it, so they're not in the wrong order. I looked it up. But yeah, these were so good. Honestly, Hooked might still be my favorite. This was a 5-star, this was a 4-star. They were so good, but honestly, just beautiful works of art, and they were the last 2 books that I read this year. I hope you guys enjoyed this little chaotic video. Hopefully my reading goal next year, I can like actually maybe get up to 80. That's my goal. But not really sure because I'm gonna be going to college and I am gonna be super duper busy, so not 100% sure how that's gonna work, but I will see you guys next time, and I love you guys. Bye.